Great.
Ladies and gentlemen, facts are stubborn things. And despite our wishes, or our inclinations, or our passions, and despite Mr. Miller's wishes and his inclinations and his passions, it doesn't change the status of the facts and evidence in this case. And the one thing I agree with defense on this is, you do have the video. That's unique. Most cases you don't, but now it's like you're at the scene. And you can go back and analyze that video, and you can tell, did Mr. Miller hear approximately 10 times, however many times, to leave? Did he hear to leave in a specific way, and did he do it? That's how simple this is. Did he leave? And the strength of this case is in its simplicity. Now, there's been some talk about him having cameras, and I want to bring back to you the image of that girl in red with the exact same type of camera equipment that Mr. Miller had. And you can ask yourself, why wasn't she arrested? And I submit to you, she wasn't arrested because she left. She left. It's as simple as that. She left, he didn't. He's not being prosecuted for his beliefs. He's not being prosecuted so we can oppress the First Amendment. He is being prosecuted because of his conduct, because he refused to leave when the police officers told him to, because roads had to remain closed since he didn't leave. And you saw the video. He's the last person to leave. He's the last person running out, filming the police officers. And as soon as they start to walk back, what does he do? Walks directly into Major Perez. Okay? Major Perez did not go out to him and arrest him. He walked into her. And if you watch closely on the video, she steps to one side to sort of block him, and he tries to step to the other side. If that's not resisting without violence, I don't know what is. If that's not resisting, opposing, and obstructing a lawful command, nothing is. And that might sound fantastic. That might sound a little out there. But if you award him with an acquittal simply because he had camera equipment, that's not upholding the First Amendment. Because this isn't about the First Amendment. This isn't about his beliefs. This is about his conduct and what he did on January 31st, 2012. Now, you can use your own common sense when you review these videos and you see him asking, why can't I be on the sidewalk? Sir, why can't I be on the sidewalk? Why can't I be on the sidewalk, sir? And there's another protester next to him asking that same thing. Ask yourself if that's reasonable. If it takes a lot of knowledge to wonder, why can't I be on this sidewalk? 100 police officers just pushed out 300 people into the road to clear them out, and they've given orders why and how to go. Is that reasonable to wonder why you can't be on the sidewalk? I submit to you it's not. It's common sense. You have to leave. This protest has to end. It's not reasonable that the police would need to be there all night. And if they were, as counsel said, just looking for an excuse to arrest anyone, he could have been arrested when he was standing there asking, why can't I be on the sidewalk? Right then and there, he's disobeying a lawful command. He could have been arrested when he's screaming, why are you blocking my shot? Why are you blocking my shot? Because he didn't leave, and that's what this case was about. Don't mistake the officer's fairness for weakness, that they didn't arrest him at the very beginning, that they didn't arrest him when they were pushing him out, and that they didn't arrest him when he was the last person standing away from them, and that finally they arrested him when he walked back into Major Perez and tried to get around her. Then think about his actions on that videotape. Stop choking me, stop choking me. For the record, I'm not resisting. For the record, I'm not resisting. You don't have to choke me. Why would someone say that? Ask yourself why someone would say that, those odd words. It seems really odd and inconsistent when you watch the video. And think about what motivation he might have to have resisted her arrest, to have resisted her commands. What are the odds that Major Perez would have made the arrest? That was another point that was harped on. What are the odds? He literally almost runs over her. She doesn't go out to him. He goes back into her. How can it be surprising that she arrested him at this point after what had transpired that entire night? It simply can't be. Finally, Glenn Garvin, the defense witness who testified about what a journalist should do and how they should act. You can simply analyze whether you think Mr. Miller's conduct comported with a journalist or whether he was acting as a protester. And in opening statements, the defense told you that there will not be a shred of evidence that Mr. Miller was protesting, not a shred of evidence. I submit to you that there was much more than a shred of evidence, that the evidence was overwhelming. And at this point, the presumption of innocence is gone. You can convict him because we've proven beyond a reasonable doubt that he resisted, opposed, and obstructed the lawful order to leave. It's as simple as that. What was Mr. Miller doing that night? He was engaging in civil disobedience, deliberately refusing to comply with laws that he considers to be unjust by not leaving. He thinks because he has a camera and he wants to videotape, he can do whatever he wants. That's why he stayed there. Have no mistake about it. He was engaging in civil disobedience. He was protesting because he thinks a camera is his sword to do whatever he wants. Now, a lot of people would probably like to go and take photos of the White House, walk into the White House, and not allowing people entry into the White House definitely diminishes their ability to gather that news. But the right to gather news does not carry with it an unrestrained right to do whatever you want. You can't just walk into the White House. You can't go, if you're on a tour of the White House, into another room. You have to follow the law, and your conduct has to comport with the law. That's what happened here. His conduct did not comport with the law. This case is not about suppression and control, and it's not about suppressing his First Amendment rights. It's about respect and respecting the rights of others. And Mr. Miller had a right to exercise his First Amendment that night, and he did for 4 hours. And the officers had a right to be safe. He didn't respect that right when he walked behind them. They don't know who he is. He didn't identify himself. And his conduct, his demeanor had been aggressive. And really, who would feel safe after someone acting that way all night walks behind them? You don't know what's in his bag. He was not respecting their right. He's no different or no better than anyone else. The rest of the members of the media were working with Major Perez, or they weren't being disruptive. They left when they were told to. He didn't, and that's why you're here today. The First Amendment does not permit you to live outside the law. When you're given a lawful command to leave, you must. And once again, the strength in this case is in its simplicity. Mr. Miller is denying what is common knowledge by saying he didn't know that he had to leave. You have the videotapes, you have the testimony. He was told abundantly to leave and how to leave, and now the call is yours. The evidence to convict is there. It's overwhelming that Mr. Miller resisted, opposed, and obstructed, and because of that, you should find him guilty.
Thanks for the defense and the state for your presentations. Panel members, thank you for your attention to the trial as well. You've been rather heroic this long evening.